Hey guys, welcome to Cape and Cowl Cafe. I'm Nemo, and today we're celebrating the channel hitting 10,000 subscribers. That is just an insane number, and it's all thanks to you. So, to celebrate the occasion, I'm going to answer a crap ton of your guys' questions. But first, I wanted to announce the winner of the art contest. You guys submitted a lot of art, and a lot of it was just so good. It was so hard to pick for this contest, so I'm gonna throw a few honorable mentions on the screen here, but the winner has to be Jacob Blanco. He did this amazing drawing of the Flash. I love all of the detail on this, the scratchy and kind of messy textures, and I love the stacked coffee cups in the corner. That's a great detail. Good job, man. Alright, with that out of the way, let's hop into the video. Alright, our first question comes from Iron Flazambat, and they say, what inspired you to start your channel? Was it something you had been considering for a while, or was it more of a sudden idea / inspiration? Now, if I'm gonna be honest, I had worked a ton of jobs, but currently I was working at Walmart, and I just absolutely hated it. I hated every second of my life. I had to get out of there. So I decided to quit, and I started the channel, and yeah, the rest is history. Stop Motion United says, number one, I love your videos. Been here since day one, and my question is, what is your favorite Batman actor? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think my favorite Batman actor obviously has to be Kevin Conroy, but if we're talking about live action, then it has to go to Robert Pattinson. Not a Canadian says, have you ever read Scott Pilgrim, or have you just read superhero comics? Also love your videos. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you. I have not read any of the Scott Pilgrim comics, but I have seen the movie, and it is one of my favorite movies. It's on my top 10 list. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It is just hilarious. Don Pingo says, what do you think of Avengers Infinity War? I got some problems with it, and I want to see if it's just me. I think it might be just you. I love Infinity War. I think it's one of the best MCU movies, if not the best. I do have problems with Endgame. I don't think that one is as solid of a follow-up as I would have hoped for, but Infinity War is near perfect. Last Man says, how did you get the nickname Nemo? Sick nickname though. Yeah, so my name isn't really Nemo. Duh. It's a nickname I got in middle school because of my palsy. I have radial nerve palsy in my right hand and arm, and my arm is a little smaller and a little weaker than my left, so it's kind of like my lucky Finn. It's also the explanation for the black and orange color scheme. Plus, Nemo is a better nickname than Cripple or something. It doesn't really stop me from doing anything since I've had it my whole life, and I've adapted pretty well. I can use a controller, play guitar, and build with Legos. Now I'm just waiting for those Winter Soldier arms to be sold at Costco, so before you guys start with the whole, oh, I'm sorry, that sounds really hard, I can't imagine, just shut up. Shut up, okay? It's been a joke my whole life. All of my friends call me Cripple or Cripple Boy, all of the above. And like, I've had it my whole life, so it's normal to me. Like, to me, it kind of seems like if you were to apologize to a short person because they're short, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. It must be so hard to be that height. Oh, what can I do? Just stop. And before you ask, yes, I kind of do look like Quagmire from Family Guy. What does the N on the belt stand for on your logo? It stands for Nemo. Deadpool, the one and only, says, what's your favorite Batman comic run? What inspired you to make content, and who do you main in Marvel Rivals? Well, for my favorite Batman comic run, I usually gravitate towards the individual stories more, but I'm reading through No Man's Land right now, really enjoying it. I started doing content because I hated my job, and so I quit, and then I main Moon Knight in Marvel Rivals. I know it's kind of a low-skill, basic character, but I enjoy him, so who cares? Is mac and cheese tasty? Yes, it is. What is your favorite comic of all time? I think it would have to be Dark Victory right now. I just read through the whole thing again. It's so good. It's done by the legendary Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. They are probably one of the greatest comic duos of all time. Where do you hope the channel would be in 6 months? Would you ever compare Western comics to Eastern comics / manga? Any updates on that awesome Lego Batcave you made? I don't know. I don't want to set any goals that are too unrealistic, but I think 20 or 25K would be a really good number to hit by then. I don't really read manga. I watch some anime. I really enjoyed Attack on Titan and Death Note, some of Demon Slayer, but I'm not huge into manga, so I wouldn't really compare them. And yeah, I still have that Lego Batcave. It is massive. I kind of just expanded upon the Lego Shadow Box that we got. I don't know. I might have to downscale it soon because I move into a new house and it's a beast. Alright, Omega Red asks, what kind of video games do you play, and do you got any personal favorites? I play a lot of single-player story games. The only multiplayer games I really play are Rivals, and then sometimes Fortnite if my friends are on, but I play a lot of PlayStation exclusives like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, the Spider-Man games. Absolutely love the Arkham series. Those kind of games. I think they're all just so peak. Red Dead 2, that's another one. So good. Moth Lover 2007 says, what's your opinion on the Batman villain Killer Moth? I think he's fun. You know, I don't know why they don't use him more. Not every villain has to be some huge big bad that's a threat to Batman's life. I kind of see him the same way that I see Boomerang and Spider-Man. You know, like, he's not really a big threat, but you can still tell some interesting stories with him. Why not? The Dark Passenger 103 says, Nemo, what's your favorite season of Dexter? I think that would have to be either season 2 or season 4. I really liked the final showdown between Dexter and Sergeant Dokes, but the Trinity Killers just peak. I don't know. Both of those seasons are so good. Easton Ginter says, what's your favorite music genre? Be honest. Show us a side we haven't seen. Well, I really love jazz and blues, but I think my favorite artist has to be John Mayer. I know, I'm one of those basic guitar guys. You got me, but he's just so good, all right? Listen to, his music that's not just his pop stuff, and you'll fall in love with him, all right? Go listen to Continuum. It's pretty much all blues. It's so peak. Are you a comic collector? And if so, what's your most expensive one? I don't really collect expensive comics. I wish I could, but I don't really have the budget for that. I think my coolest one would have to be Batman number 259 from December of 1974. In this book, Batman teams up with the Shadow, and it's just such a cool crossover. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of expensive ones. What got you into comic books, and how long have you been reading/watching comic book media? Well, I've pretty much always been into comic book stuff. I mean, I was watching BTAS and Batman Beyond since I was 2 years old. Like, I was a kid. Of course I was into superheroes, but I didn't really start reading comic books until the New 52 came out. I was in middle school, and that's when I had access to a public library. I could go there after school, check out books, and I was just reading like crazy. Such a good time. Stormer1012 says, do you collect any action figures or statues or Lego for Marvel or DC? And if you were responsible for deciding the new DCU Batman mythos, which Robin would you like to see? I do collect some action figures. I have a few Funko Pops, but I have a lot of Legos. I have so many. I'll put some images on the screen here. I have too many. And then as far as the DCU Batman, I personally would like to see Jason Todd as Robin. So I would like to see the point in Batman's career where Dick Grayson is just leaving the nest and he's becoming Nightwing, and then Jason gets introduced as Robin. That way, we can see the Under the Red Hood story played out in live action. That would be so awesome. Plate of Peas says, fave Spider-Man run, JMS run, easy, not a contest. Moving on. If you were to write or read an indie comic, would you prefer it to be about a single character or a team of characters? Also, which do you think is better for marketing purposes? Personally, I think that individual characters are more successful in indie comics because you only have to introduce and get people to care about one character. If you're trying to introduce a new team, you have to build up multiple characters at the same time and create reader investment with all of them. That's why I think Invincible works pretty well, because it has really compelling side characters, but it's only really marketing the one guy, Invincible, I don't know if that makes sense. Dom VC says, what are your favorite comic book heroes outside of the big three? I'm assuming you mean Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, so I would have to say Batman Beyond. I don't know if that's cheating. Daredevil. I like Invincible, though I do think he's kind of a pussy. Ben 10. There you go. Which portrayal of Batman's future do you prefer? A more solitary one like Batman Beyond, or something more optimistic? I think Batman should end up alone, I do like the idea of him dating different people throughout his career. I am a Wonder Bat fan, but I don't think he should marry her. Same with Catwoman. I think the relationship is great, but ultimately, Batman is Batman, the crusade, the mission, it comes first, So I think he's going to end up alone, and since I'm a huge fan of Batman Beyond, maybe I'm a little biased, but that's my favorite version of Batman's future. PSP says, one movie, comic, game that changed your perspective about a character. I think that would have to go to Daredevil, easily. Like, I always knew who Daredevil was as a kid, but I was like, oh, he's just a blind guy. Like, how interesting can that be? How cool can a blind guy be? And then I watched the Netflix Daredevil show, and mine changed. Daredevil is one of the coolest Marvel characters ever. He is such a badass. So, I don't know, maybe 6-year-old me was a little ableist. What is the best soundtrack and or score in a superhero movie? This one's a really tough one. I think my favorite superhero score isn't in a movie. It would have to be the score from Spider-Man PS4, which it's such a shame that they didn't just use it again for the second one. They just made this crappier, worse version of it. That first score was so good. But if we're talking strictly movies, obviously, I'm probably gonna have to go with Danny Elfman's Batman theme. Like, you can't beat it. That theme belongs to Batman, and you can apply it to any version of Batman ever. It doesn't matter. It's just that good. Alonzo says, favorite supervillain? Probably Mr. Freeze. I think he's the most compelling, and he's just cool. I love his robotic voice. He's sick. Steel Toe 2 says, what piques your interest other than comic books? Well, I really like Legos, obviously, and I really like Star Wars. I also like Lego Star Wars, but I know I haven't really made any Star Wars videos on this channel. It's kind of hard to talk about because the fan base is just always so heated about everything at any given moment, but maybe I should talk about it more. Particle says, do you have a favorite Spider-Man, live action or animated? I think that would have to go to Spectacular Spider-Man. I think every single live action Spider-Man has just been missing something when it comes to portraying the full character, but Spectacular definitely got the closest in my opinion. KenCom says, which do you like more, Batman and Robin or Justice League? Well, I think Batman and Robin is definitely more of a fun experience. Even though it's a bad movie, you can still have a good time with it. When I watch Justice League, I just want to dip my head in a bucket of cement, you know? It's just miserable. It's a miserable experience, and it's just not a good movie. Who is scarier, Man-Bat or Scarecrow? That's a tough one, you know, because if you're just an average Gotham citizen and Scarecrow's using the fear toxin, you're cooked. But at the same time, if you see a giant man-shaped bat flying around, frothing from the mouth, you're also probably gonna piss your pants, you know, either way. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to Man-Bat because Scarecrow at least has to somehow get his toxin inside of you first. So yeah, I think Man-Bat takes the dub here. Ipman says, what in your opinion is the best thing that superhero movies have done for the perception of comic books? Well, I think that is kind of a double-edged sword because it's also done a lot of bad for comic books, but I think the best thing would have to be making Marvel popular and kind of saving Marvel, because Marvel Comics went bankrupt in the 90s and they kind of had to sell out all of their movie rights to save themselves, and obviously it worked. So I think if it wasn't for Marvel movies, we might not have Marvel Comics anymore. But then again, one more day never would have happened, so I don't know. Doglover39 says, what superhero do you think deserves a video game the most? Obviously, it's Superman. You know, there's tons of characters that I would love to see a game for, Daredevil included, but Superman is the best superhero on the face of the planet, and he still hasn't had a good modern AAA game yet. Like, I know in the past we've had Superman 64, Superman Returns, Shadow of Apocalypse, but they're all garbage, you know, especially compared to modern day standards. They just don't hold up. So definitely Superman. I don't know how they would do it. I'm sure there's tons of videos out there where other YouTubers are pitching their ideas, but I don't really have any at the moment, so I don't know. Raging Monkey says, what were 3 comics that really got you into comics and are just absolutely core memories for you? I don't know about 3. I think I can come up with 3, but when I was in middle school, I read a lot of New 52 Justice League. I know it's not necessarily the best interpretation of the Justice League, but I was a kid, you know, I didn't know any better. I thought it was sick seeing Batman and Green Lantern interact and, you know, that brief fight between him and Superman. I don't know. And then I also read a Batman Year One and The Long Halloween, and those were way better, you know, just absolute classics. I am so glad that I got to those before I got around to reading All-Star Batman and Robin, because I did read that in middle school. And if that was my first introduction to Batman comics, I might have been cooked. The Advocate 56 says, you always ask us for our hot takes, but what is yours? It could be about anything. I think my hottest take would have to be that the Dark Knight trilogy is super overrated, and I think Christian Bale is a bad Batman. There, I said it. Who are some more YouTube creators that you would love to collaborate with? I personally would love to make a video with Troyo Boyo or the Comic Lads, but I think my dream collaboration would have to be with Eris from Variant. I know he's probably like the biggest comic YouTuber ever. I mean, I've been watching him since I was like 13 years old, so that would be crazy. Griffin Horner says, what is your favorite Star Wars movie, show, and character? My favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. I know, it's a basic answer, but it's just so good. My favorite show would probably have to be the first season of The Mandalorian, and my favorite character, I think it would have to be Cal Kestis from the Jedi games. He's just so interesting, such a cool guy. Wildcard says, what is your favorite Arkham game and why? I think it would have to be Arkham Knight just because of the elevated gameplay. It has the best replayability in my opinion, but I think, I don't know, City is the one I grew up on. City is just so good. I can't decide. It's between those two. Who's your favorite Bat family member other than Batman? Nightwing. Easy. Favorite food? Probably some kind of pasta, maybe a good burger. I don't know. Oh, I really like fried chicken, like Cane's. I know Cane's is kind of bland, but all of the seasonings and the sauce. I don't know. I just love food. What Just Happened 77 says, what's the best movie experience you've had that wasn't Marvel or DC, whether you watched it in theaters or at home? The experience was kind of mid just because of the people that were sitting in front of me, but I think the best movie I've ever seen in theaters had to have been John Wick 4. That movie is just so good. Which Batman stories would you love to rewrite? I would love to rewrite anything that Bruce Timm has written that has to do with Batman being in a relationship with Barbara Gordon, because that is just a huge stain on the DCAU as a whole, which, you know, the DCAU is just a near perfect universe. It's so good, with just that little tiny blemish. So I would just get rid of that. What's the worst comic you've ever read? Probably All-Star Batman and Robin. I've mentioned it quite a few times. It's just so bad. What does your setup look like and how much did it cost? Here's a picture of my current setup. Obviously, it will look a lot different once I move into my new house. PC was like $800. I actually got it at Walmart. The desk was like 30 bucks at a thrift store. I got the monitor from my old roommate. We traded monitors when he went on a trip. Yeah, pretty much it. I mean, I have a PS5. You guys know how much that costs. My mic is like a $300 Rode NT1 condenser mic. I have a Scarlett interface. Pretty basic stuff. Chewy Buka says, this one's a bit personal. You don't have to answer. You've mentioned you're married, yet we're the same age, which is scary to me. So what age did you get married and how long were you dating before you did? Well, I have been married to my beautiful wife for a little over a year. I was 24 when we got married and we were dating for about 9 months before we got married. Sick Dude YouTube says, what is your favorite underrated comic book movie? What is your favorite Lego game and favorite X-Man? I think my favorite underrated comic book movie would have to be Iron Man 3. I think that one gets way more hate than it deserves. My favorite Lego game is probably the first Lego Batman game. I mean, I'm hoping that will change when the new one comes out. That one looks sick. And my favorite X-Men, I'm not a huge X-Men fan, but I do really like Nightcrawler and Gambit, so maybe one of those two. I like Wolverine too. I don't know. Crosspoint says, do you like Power Rangers? Not a huge Power Rangers fan. I did watch a little bit when I was a kid, mostly Super Samurai, but overall, I'd say no. Spencer Pollock says, if you got the chance to create an original character or villain for Batman in comics, who would they be? Okay, I've actually thought about this a lot. I would like to create an alternate universe where Jor-El becomes the Batman of Krypton. He would become Batman to fight against the political corruption of Krypton after they tried to imprison him for warning the council about Krypton's imminent destruction. So it wouldn't be a universe that would last forever because obviously Krypton's gonna blow up, but, you know, Jor-El would kind of fight against this, you know, Krypton council and he would try to save his planet, ultimately failing, but I don't know, it's a cool idea. And I imagine that his suit would kind of look a lot like Superman Beyond's does, where it has the black and white color scheme, you kind of have the arm panels on the sides, and I don't know, it would look so cool. Do you honestly think the DCU is going to be a success, or is it going to be another failure just like the DCEU? I think it's too early to tell. I hope it's successful because I love DC and I want to see it be good, but you know, if it's going to be successful, this culture war stuff has to stop, all right? Gun fans and Snyder Bros need to just shut their mouths, all right? Like, these are movies. Let's wait for the movies to come out. Then, you know, let's form our opinions on them and civilly discuss it. But, you know, we don't have to be lashing out and throwing out death threats over this stuff. It's ridiculous. Come on. Lord Vader says, how long do you take for a video? I think the average video takes around 4 to 6 hours to make with filming and, you know, editing. I don't really script a lot of my videos, so I don't have to spend a lot of time writing out a script. Maybe I should start doing that, but I don't know. It takes a lot of time. Your boy Silas says, are you a full-time YouTuber? Would you ever do video game stream or some other kind of stream? How do you rank the animated Batman shows? What's a superhero team that needs a video game? Like, don't say something basic like Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, etc. Yes, I am a full-time YouTuber. I quit my job at Walmart and my wife works too, so she's kind of helping me build this business here. She's been super helpful and I love her a lot. Would I ever do yeah, I would love to do streaming for video games. I am hoping to be able to stream the new Lego Batman game. I think that would be super fun. As far as the animated Batman shows, I think it would have to go the Batman 2004, BTAS, Batman Beyond, Brave and the Bold, and then whatever other ones after that would follow. I don't really care about the order there. And then for a superhero team that needs a game, I would probably say the Fantastic Four would be the easiest one to do because there's only 4 characters and, you know, their powers are different enough to where you could have interesting gameplay mechanics and like puzzles and different, you know, combat sections. That would be really cool. I don't know. Fantastic Four. I'd say that. Have you seen The Boys? If so, what do you think about it? Honestly, I think it's kind of lame. They mostly rely on shock value. You know, like it looks like they're kind of trying to set up an interesting story beat and then boom, a penis. That's all it is. Every single episode without fail. So I stopped watching it a while ago. It was just getting to be a bit too much for me. Arkham Knight Edit says, what is one superpower you would have and why? I would love to have tactile teleportation. Now, it's different from regular teleportation because it includes things that you're touching, like your clothes. It's also a good substitute for super strength because you can touch your car and then teleport it somewhere else. so you don't actually have to lift it. Plus, teleportation is just sick because you don't have to pay for flights or cars or gas or anything. You can just go anywhere you want at any time. It's just the best superpower. Plus, if a genie pops up and you wish for teleportation and you don't specify tactile teleportation, you're gonna teleport everywhere naked. What are your thoughts on the state of DC compact comics right now? Are they somehow better than trade paperbacks, omnibuses, etc.? I like them. You know, obviously, I think trade paperbacks are better overall, but compacts are definitely priced better. And I think they're a great option for people who want to get into comics. They're very accessible, you know, for anyone who's just wanting to read those essential stories like The Long Halloween or All-Star Superman. Like the compact, edition of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow has just been flying off the shelves because people want to read it before the movie comes out. I think that's great. Anything that lets people get into comics, it's a net positive. Joshy Boy says, what's your favorite thing to watch on YouTube? Like favorite YouTubers? Well, I love watching Moist Critical. I think he's probably my main source of news at this point. I like Troy Oboyo. I love watching Eris from Variant. Been watching him since I was a kid. I don't really watch a ton of streamers. Like I'm not huge into watching people play video games, and I'm not a big Mr. Beast fan. So yeah, probably just like mostly comic book YouTubers. Benjamin is Batman says, if DC or Marvel offered you a job, what job would you want it to be? I mean, if it was just like DC Comics, I would love to write for Batman. That would be super fun. But if we're talking movies and stuff, I would just like to have James Gunn's job where I can just make decisions on stuff, I would get to create my own cinematic universe. That would be so much fun. Plus, I could finally fix the general public's view of Robin in live action. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it all, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get us to 20K now. I am so grateful to you guys for helping me get to 10K subscribers. It's just insane. Can't wait to hit more milestones with you guys. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.